it for Miami Dolphins. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side. That open. Touchdown! He's got a man. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it over the touchdown. Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What is good? Surprise, surprise. We are back here 2 days in a row on the weekend. Shout out first and foremost to all you beautiful mothers out there. Peace to the earths and the moons. Hope all of y'all had a fantastic Mother's Day, whether you gave birth to a Dolphin, whether you put up with a Dolphin, whether you are a Dolphin yourself, or whether you stumbled across this and you aren't even a football fan, which I wouldn't see how, but hey, here you are. Happy Mother's Day to you, and I hope your day was fantastic, surrounded by the ones you love. And if you aren't a mother, but you have a mother, either here or not, I hope you celebrated them today, and I hope you cherish them just a little bit. We had some family stuff going on today, so that's why I'm a little bit later with all this news and stuff, because I would have went earlier if it was just a normal Sunday, but here we are. Obviously, we're going to talk about Isaiah Wynn today. We're going to do a lot about Isaiah Wynn today, where I'm going to deep dive the PFF grades for y'all, courtesy of the homie George Forder on Twitter, one of the few guys out there that I trust that isn't a jabroni clipping up and analyzing film for clicks. He knows what he's doing. Shout out to the homie George Forder. You can follow him on Twitter. Go do that, George Forder 3. He clipped up some clips from week 1 and week 2. We're going to look over those. We're going to take a look at, I'm going to tell you where I think, he fits, how he fits, and I'm going to show you why I think he fits where I think he's going to be going. I think there's a couple options a couple of ways this can become a successful signing. So we're going to go over that. Yeah, and then I got a couple other little things I want to go over here. We're going to go over the UDFAs that got cut yesterday, because after we were done yesterday, there was an announcement that multiple, UDFA rookies were cut only a couple days into camp, so we'll go over that. So we got a lot to talk about. But before we get into all that, speaking of the UDFAs, I see people out here, they're complaining, they're whining, and they're crying that UDFA guys got cut, right? 3 guys got cut. We'll talk about them in a bit. Got cut, and our roster number is at 85. And, we signed 21 UDFAs and then had multiple camp invites. Do you really think all these guys were going to make the roster? You really think better options aren't going to be coming available than UDFAs? I can't believe people are actually complaining about that. And I saw that yesterday after it happened. I'm sitting there shaking my head like, it's a UDFA, man. There's no investment whatsoever. You're hoping at best. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now, because I was just talking to someone privately, all right, about our UDFA class and stuff. And listen, there's only really 3. If you were going to put a gun to my head and say, reason, give me 3 names that are making this team out of the UDFA class. Okay, I'll give you the 3 names right now. Aubrey Miller. I don't buy the whole. I don't care. They guaranteed. I don't care how much they guaranteed Jake Bailey. Turk looks like he's going to outperform him. I think the only guys who got legitimate chances are Aubrey Miller, right? Turk, and what's his face? Brandon Pilley. Outside of that, the guys that I hope can, maybe make the practice squad, or like Alama Ulave, Zeke Vandenberg, Anthony Montalvo. His profile is very intriguing. And then there's other, UDFAs that I hope that can make the practice squad. But I'm not sitting here hoping. If we're sitting here hoping a majority of these guys are making the 53, this roster's not as good as we thought they were. So I don't know why anyone would be complaining or whining or moaning that we cut UDFAs this early. That clearly tells you they have a plan, especially if they're opening up 5 roster spots, and they filled one of it today. Right? So, at most, I think 3, and that's a real long shot, 3 UDFAs, and I told you, Aubrey Miller, Michael Turk, and Brandon Pilley, I think, and that's just because of, I think Michael Turk just looks like a beast who's going to outperform Bailey, and there's not that much money tied up into Bailey, okay? Aubrey Miller offers you special teams, and I think he can flash more in camp than a guy like Duke Riley. I think he's way more instinctive. Okay. And Brandon Pilley, they guaranteed the kid $100,000. And what depth do we have since Jenkins and such left? So there's reasons why I think those guys can fit. Okay. I'm not out here sitting hoping, I told you, everyone, the quarterback we got at MSU can't body at best. Can't body at best. All right. It's so I don't know why anyone would complain, but people are. And if you're complaining about us cutting UDFAs, man, you either don't know ball or you really, really are looking for every negative thing about this team to pick out. I don't know what to say. Another thing I want to talk about, too, that I saw some people were trying to make a big deal out of was the trash talking between Tyreek Hill and Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons said, I'm paraphrasing, but basically that, Tua is going to be the one that pays for all this when it's all said and done. Listen, okay? These guys are just trying. I saw how people were trying to oh my God, Tyreek's going to get Tua killed and people are going to target Tua now because of Tyreek's mouth, man. These guys are just trash talking each other. It's been going on. Look at what Tyreek's been going back and forth to Kansas City Chiefs. It's nothing deep, okay? At the end of the day, these players don't want to hurt each other. They want to do their jobs and do their jobs to the best of their ability. But, not every player is out here willing to participate in Bounty Gate, all right? That's just, not everyone out here is willing to hunt a Brett Favre or someone like that. And has Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator putting that bounty out there on them. Not everyone is like that, okay? So they're just trash talking. That's fine, because I still think we're going to whoop those Dallas Cowboy asses. Ask yourself, do the Cowboys... Man, I already projected to all of y'all, other than CD, who that best player was going to be on that team, outside the quarterback. And none of y'all wanted to trade for him when I was telling y'all he was sitting there right for us to trade for him. Now, sure, I'm glad we didn't give up Xavier Howard in the long run. But remember, when I went over, you can go and search the pack. Go look at Xavier Howard trades, Phinside The NFL. Go Google that or YouTube search that. And I gave multiple packages. And before Tony Pollard was a thing, I said Tony Pollard, and I believe they had the 10th pick in the draft. I said Tony Pollard and the number 10 pick for Xavier Howard. And the chat, who's Tony Pollard? Tony Pollard, hey, blah, 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 blah. And now you look at our offense, and Tony Pollard is like, Devin A-Chain style type of perfect fit. Just saying. So I'm not really worried. Other than CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard, what do I fear in Dallas? Nothing. And I don't even fear those guys. I really don't. And everyone knows I love me some CD and I love me some Tony. But I love our defense a whole hell of a lot more. I love our defense a whole hell of a lot more than I like those players, okay? I agree with Chuck Pagano. I think if we say health permits, this is a top 5 defense. Health permits. This is a top 5 defense. I truly believe that. I agree with Chuck Pagano and everything he said. 110%. And, oh my God. And we had a top 10 offense in year 1. We could very well, I'm telling you, health permits. And this is why I get the expectations are so high. Health permits. You can have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense this year. I want everyone to sit there for 3 seconds and think about what I just said. If health permits, you could have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense this year. When you look at the coaching personnel in place and you look at the roster personnel in place. That is legitimate. I'm sorry. That is legitimate. Especially if Wynn works out where I think they might be looking to put him. I'm just saying. You could be sitting on a freaking... When you sit there and you look at it, it makes sense why they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this year. People are going to leave after this year. I keep telling all of y'all. We're not going to have this amassed amount of talent. It's not a surety or certainty that we're going to have this amount of amassed talent on this roster during the rest of this window. That's why get everything while you can right now this year. Do it. Do it. And I don't think we're done making moves, by the way. I know what people want to hear from Reason. No, we're not done making moves. When that money frees up on June 1st, don't think this starts and ends with Isaiah Wynn. And I'll explain exactly why when we get into Isaiah Wynn here in a few minutes, why this does not start and end with Isaiah Wynn. We are not done. They are not done bringing in competition along this offensive line. Because the two paths I see to this being a successful move, they might surprise you. They might surprise you with what I'm going to say, okay? 300 of you in the room, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Final thing I wanted to cover here before we get into Isaiah Wynn, because I do want to talk about this for a second. And this will be our segue into Isaiah Wynn. You know, I've said it with Tua, and I'm going to keep the same energy with this offensive line move. Beggars can't be choosers. All right? We have said on this show before, there was only 3 tackles out there worth our time. And that was Isaiah Wynn, Cam Fleming, and Brandon Shell. We said that. We literally had this conversation on this show last week. Because we said then you start getting into the guys like George Fance and stuff like that. Which, I don't know, is a path you don't want to go down. I said that's a path you don't want to go down. You might as well just bring back Brandon Shell. Now, someone asked me in the comments what I thought about Wynn. And when you're talking about tackles, I would have preferred Cam Fleming over Isaiah Wynn. But I'll explain why, because there's an asterisk to that for a second. And we'll get into that in a second. But my point here is, listen, we've been begging for O-line help. They've brought it in. They brought it on a 1-year deal. Remember, this was a guy who Spot Track was projecting to have like a 5-year, $77 million contract thrown his way before he hit free agency. Now, there's a reason why it didn't happen, and we'll talk about that too when we really start diving into him. You know, but we need O-line help. This is O-line help. That's why. Is it the best move? No, it could be. There are 2 pathways where it could be, and that I'm going to go over here. But as of right now today, is it the best move? Probably not. But is it the worst move? Far from it. So I don't know why people, listen. Last year, yeah, he struggled. And I get that. Hey, I'm the one that preaches the NFL is a what have you done for me lately. I get that. But let's start getting into Isaiah Wynn here, okay? Before we get into everything, the thick of things. Let's trim the fat before we get to the meat of the situation here, okay? When you're talking about a guy who had toe, right? It's the same reason why Darnell Washington fell. I kept telling all y'all. Why was he falling? Because the medical red flags were leg injuries. Multiple leg injuries. He had a knee and an ankle. Now you're looking at you're going and you're looking at Isaiah Wynn, or you're talking about knee and toe injuries. Now, toe injuries for big men can be real issues. All right? Now, not everyone is a stud like Teron Armstead where they're told after week 1, you got to shut it down and get that fixed. And he says, no, I'm going to play through it. Not everyone's Teron Armstead. Teron Armstead is a top 3 tackle in the NFL when he's playing. There's a reason why. And he's tougher than people gave him credit for. He tries to play through whatever he can. Right? He's a different breed. He's a different animal. But when you start adding up lower extremity injuries with those big frames, those big men who, you go back to the Georgia film, one of the best things he could do was move, right? Quick feet. He was really great in open space. Always looking for someone to kill at the second level, right? He moved really good for a big interior man. He moved really well. He moved really well in a phone booth. He was good. But when those lower bodies, and he's been shifted around, you got to remember, right? He was put out of position when he was drafted because Joe Thuney was playing his natural position. People seem to forget that. And Joe Thuney was one of the best in the NFL at that time. One of the best in the NFL at that time. So he was kicked to left tackle because of that. So, listen. We did something. We've been begging for them to do something. They did something. So, you got to trust them. There's a reason why. I kept telling all of you. Why are they so confident after the draft? I kept saying, why? And I'm starting to see why now. So let's get into why, let's get into all of it. Let's get into the thick of it right here, right now, okay? So the Miami Dolphins, as you all know, and as we've been alluding to, officially signed former Patriots first-round offensive tackle Isaiah Wynn to a 1-year deal. Now, they call him depth and competition on their O-line. Wynn has bided his time, making sure the opportunity is right for a reboot. Now he lands in Miami. All right. I want y'all to listen to me and listen to me closely. I don't think he's going to be playing right tackle. Could he be camp competition? Sure, but I don't think that's the... I think he's going back to left guard. I think he gives you the option to be that swing tackle for Teron Armstead. If he misses time, you can kick him to left tackle if you have to, and then you can play Liam Eichenberg at guard. But I think Isaiah Wynn is going to be in a direct competition with Liam Eichenberg. And I think that is the path to making this the most successful the most successful outcome for this signing. And I think that's what they have in mind for him. I think those are both the two ways. If he comes out of this signing as our starting left guard and the backup swing tackle for Teron Armstead, if he misses time, then this is a very successful signing, and he's only 26. Now, he's just as injury prone as other guys here we've got. That's for sure. But he's performed at a higher level than them. All right? They switched the blocking scheme in New England last year, and they shifted him to right tackle. I keep telling all of you guys, and I've been telling you guys, right, when we talked about Penei Sewell years ago, and whenever I talk about this, not anyone can just translate from the left side to the right side. You've got to learn to do everything now into your kick slide. You got to lead with your other foot now. Everything is now done with the opposite side of your body. It's not natural. The guys who either have had experience in high school or are super high IQ with really good athleticism, those are the ones I trust. And Penei Sewell fit all those boxes, and that's why I was like, he's fine to move to right tackle. And look at what he's turned into. Him and Wirfs, the guys I wanted in back-to-back drafts, are the two best right tackles in football right now. Isaiah Wynn is not a fit at right tackle. That's why I think Cam Fleming is still on the board. I think bringing Brandon Shell back is still on the board. I do not think they are done bringing in competition. I think he is going to be the direct competition for Liam Eichenberg. He's going to give him a run for his money. This is going to be Eichenberg's problem, I think. I really do. Again, he might still be in New England if Joe Thuney was never there. If he was not drafted to that team with Joe Thuney, he would have just stuck in a left guard. That's what he played. People forget, I mean, that's where he played in Georgia. Solomon Kinley took over for him. I think his best fit is on the left side. I don't see him going to the right side. Now they could continue to develop him there, as a backup, but I don't see him. I think they're going to keep him to the left side, which makes me. He's not beating out Armstead. I think he's going to be your backup swing for Armstead / competing for your starting left guard spot, and I think he will beat out Liam Eichenberg. If it is a legitimately fair competition, I do think Isaiah Wynn will beat out Liam Eichenberg. That is why I'm saying, everyone, don't complain yet. Let's see how this plays out. If we get to camp and he's at left guard, ladies and gentlemen, your eyebrows better be raising. Because Eichenberg, it's over, bud. I don't think Eichenberg beats him out. If Eichenberg beats him out, then I really know Greer's got politics at play. I don't think he's going back to right tackle. So I think you're going to see him as the backup swing tackle for Armstead. And I think you're going to see him compete with Eichenberg for that starting left guard spot heading into camp. That's where I would watch. At right tackle, he was a struggle last year. Struggle. Not to say he hasn't struggled at times at left tackle as well, but better on the left side. He's more natural. Shout out to Knight for the $2 donation, especially after my video yesterday got demonetized to hell. Thank you, XOS Digital Sports, for demonetizing the Texas A&M and South Carolina film. Appreciate that. Knight said, Armstead, Wynn, Williams, Hunt, Shell. That's good. I think you might be onto something. When you put that into perspective, I'm not throwing up in my mouth a little bit. Huh? I'm not fearing for my quarterback's life. You put Wynn in between Connor and Armstead, you will get results. That man was next to Andrew Thomas, and they used to move bodies. Move them. All right? Move them. Back in like 2017. You put Shell or Fleming at right tackle there? But I listen, the other thing too I will say, right? I don't know if I put this in a Patreon update or I have to go back and look. I'm sure I did, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. Anyways, the one thing I have heard, like heading into the draft, one thing that I did hear was that they were more concerned with left guard than they were with right tackle. I'm pretty sure I told all of you this. If I didn't, I apologize. But I did hear that in passing weeks and weeks ago. That they were more concerned about the left guard situation than they are at right tackle. So, take that for what it's worth. And that again, yeah, Thomason said, yes, you did. So, yeah, so when you compound Wynn and how he fits on the left side and how he ain't beating out Armstead, that by automatic math and deduction, that leaves you at what? The left guard. That's where it takes you. There you go. Christensen, Liam, Feeney, AJ, all swingers. Leave your keys by the door, gentlemen. And, again, Jason Myers points out, you can't forget Robert Jones, too. Hey, that's a good battle at left guard. Robert Jones Wynn, Liam Eichenberg? I think Eichenberg finishes third, but that's a good back, man. That's a good battle. I think Robert Jones could beat out Liam Eichenberg, if you want my honest opinion. I mean, I think I'd have a shot to beat out Liam Eichenberg. You know, just give me a lot more time to beef up and we'll be good. So, I don't know. You know, I mean, we'll see. But that's how I see this going. I see Isaiah Wynn going to left guard and battling a left guard and the swing tackle for Armstead. That makes the most sense to me. And then you bring in Brandon Shell. If you feel comfortable going with Austin Jackson, then guess what? Brandon Shell's your backup specific right tackle, and you have your backup specific left tackle on the other side. Oh my God, we have depth. Oh, look at that. For once in how long? It might not be much, but we have some depth. Jesus. So, I mean, oh, here we go. No one's forgetting Lester Cotton. Okay, the guy's name, you know, no one's forgetting Lester Cotton. Okay, the guy sounds like he sounds like a rabbit from a fairy tale. But let's be honest. Did you watch Lester Cotton? Because he was not very good. No, thank you. No, thank you very much. His name is better than his play on the field. Let's be honest with ourselves, huh? Let's be honest. Lester Cottontail, that's what I call him. Now, when you look at Isaiah Wynn, when you take the deep dive into his PFF blocking grades, oh, yeah, they gave him the nod over Robert Jones. Yeah, Robert Jones was very up and down last year. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Okay, so when you look at his blocking grades from last year, right? You know, he had some struggles, right? Go down here to the bottom, and you go by year. Top is... Here, let me zoom it out for you guys so you guys can see everything here. There you go. So, here, I can shift it over. But you guys can see there that you go from the top down. He struggled. Like, you know, his grades were not that great. Yeah, let me fix that for all y'all. Let me fix that for all y'all. Give me 1 sec, guys. There you go. That's better. That should be better for y'all. All right. So, yeah. So, when you look at how he panned out, really, I mean, he struggled. He looked okay out of the gate, and then he really started to hit that. But last year, you know, struggled. Again, he's been battling injuries almost every year here, right? Like, we're not talking about a guy who can stay healthy here, right? He had a season-ending injury in 2022. He had a toe injury in 2019. He had a knee injury in 2020. I mean, the guy doesn't exactly stay healthy here, right? And if you remember, like, he had an injury in 2018 too as well, I think, where he's like carted off the field against the Eagles. So, I mean, we're talking about a guy who gets hurt every year. Every year almost. He misses some time. So, you know, how much can you even depend on him to be healthy? He's on a 1-year prove-it deal. So, we'll see how that works out. You know, again, Brandon Shell and Cam Fleming, another thing they offer you over him, you know, not only right tackle competition, but they stay a little bit more healthier than Isaiah Wynn. That's not a knock. Hey, he's on a 1-year deal. How many times have we seen guys on 1-year deals? What? They come out and they stay healthy and they earn another paycheck. Hey, hoping you do it this year for us. I'm not going to lie. But anyways, you look at him this year, you know, in 423 snaps, all right, 229 of those pass blocking, he allowed 4 sacks, 2 hits, 11 hurries, and 17 pressures, right? You go back and you look at his first 2 years, you're talking about a guy who only allowed 30 pressures over his first 2 years, but over the last 2, he's allowed 45. And you see the big difference was, look at all those snaps at right tackle this year. 343 snaps at right tackle this year. Whereas, in 60 at left guard, 20 at left tackle, whereas the year before, all 914 at left tackle, 616 at left tackle, and 25 at left guard. And as a rookie, all 563 at left tackle. He's naturally to the left side. That's just where he fits. And that's why I think they're going to move him back. So, also over the last, also I know this past season, they moved to more of a zone blocking scheme, right? They tried to go the Shanahan route with that outside zone blocking scheme, and they went to a new scheme, and they moved him to right tackle. You know what I mean? I mean, that is something you can also tie into the dip in his play. That's a big thing. You move to a totally new scheme and you go to the totally opposite unnatural side for you. That's not many guys would be that successful in year one. I'm just saying. So that has to be taken into context, I think. I really do. So, and, if I memory serves me correctly, I think, hey, guy wasn't set up for success and he struggled due to it. What else can you really say? What else can you really say, huh? It is what it is. I don't know what else to say. It is what it is. And, you look at the numbers. Yeah, struggled for sure. I think he can be better. And I think if you put him in the middle of, Connor Williams and Terron Armstead, that gives him a higher chance of being successful. I really do. And I think that's what we're going to see happen. So I think you see him on left guard or backing up Terron Armstead. Sure, might tinker with him at right tackle? Maybe, because he had some experience last year. But, it makes a lot of sense to throw him into that competition on left guard. We'll see how it plays out. That's what I think the most successful path. The two most successful paths for this signing are he is the insurance policy on Terron Armstead or he is in the battle with Robert Jones, Lester Cotton, and Liam Eichenberg for left guard. Because I think he'll win the left guard job. And I'm going to show you why here in a second. All right, we're gonna watch some film of him. All right, so, Daniel, friend of the show, Daniel Oyefusi, had the article on Isaiah Wynn come out today. Dolphins signing former Patriots starting offensive tackle Isaiah Wynn. Dolphins are signing former New England Patriots offensive tackle Isaiah Wynn to a 1-year deal. A league source confirmed to the Miami Herald on Sunday, adding possible competition and depth ahead of organized team activities. Wynn, who turns 28 in December, is a 2018 first-round pick who has started 40 games over the last 4 seasons. The 6'2" and 310-pound Wynn played 3 seasons at left tackle, but started at right tackle in 2022 and also logged snaps at guard. Injuries, though, have limited his time on the field. He missed his rookie year because of a torn Achilles and has missed 23 of a possible 66 games since 2019. The Dolphins have been searching for veteran options for an offensive line that dealt with a myriad of injuries in 2022, hosting Cameron Fleming on a visit last month. The team also hosted other veterans who did not have to be reported on the NFL's transaction wire. Despite early career struggles and injuries, the expectation is that Austin Jackson will be the team's starting right tackle, General Manager Chris Greer said last month. But the team did not exercise his 5th-year option, and he could compete with Wynn for a starting job. Wynn is a second outside free agent offensive lineman the Dolphins have added this offseason, joining Dan Feeney. Miami also re-signed offensive tackles Jaron Christensen and Kendall Lamb and selected former Michigan tackle Ryan Hayes in the 7th round of the 2023 NFL Draft. Dolphins are set to receive $13.6 million from the post-June 1st cut of cornerback Byron Jones and could opt to use the cap space for another addition to the roster that stands at 88 players after the signing of Wynn. So, more of these rookies are going to get cut, and we got more room to add. Remember, you want to get this roster to 90, right? You want to get this to 90. So, we've still got 2 openings going on, right? And so let's watch a little bit here. Shout out to the homie George Fodder again. Follow him on Twitter. He clipped up week 1 and week 2 of the film. So, I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. Didn't have a lot of time today. So I got 3 things I want to show you. Let's start off with this. So I do want to give some context to this before we watch this. Mac Jones, had the 5th fastest release time this week, the week we're about to watch against the Dolphins. So take that into consideration as to why you're seeing the ball come out so fast. But, he lined up against Phillips and Ogba, So, see him right there, 76. Arcing him out. Love that. Ball out quick. You see he's having problems, though. He goes on his heels a little bit. Right quick. It's just because he's not used to that side, right? Like you see his hold gets away with a hold there. But, you can just tell that's a good rep. Mac's so trash. It's unbelievable. I love every minute of it. I mean, he's absorbing the power, and he's holding his own. Ogba and Phillips are no easy task. Active hands, right? Keeping them good right in the chest plate. Really not bad when you look at it, right? So let's look at him. Let's look at him. And you go back, he only allowed a single, he didn't allow those 30 snaps he had in pass protection. He didn't allow a single hurry, hit, or sack against the Dolphins, which is pretty impressive considering the guys we got coming off the edge, right? So anyways, now you look at here, let's watch him in week 2 against the Steelers here. Their running backs averaged 5.3 yards per carry. Isaiah Wynn had a 80.8 run blocking grade in this game. Again, shout out to George Fodder for posting this. Great stuff here. But, I mean, he's offering you something. Look, he loves getting out in open space. Look at him just blow that man up. He loves it. Wait till I show you the UGA clip. I mean, you're not talking about a guy who's giving up the inside. Who's just, you're not talking about a guy who's just getting blown up and put on his ass. Sure, some power rushers can put him on his heels now and then, but he also knows how to absorb the power pretty well for the most part. Drops his hips, sets his anchor. He's pretty good. You know what I mean? So, I'm telling you right now, I'm seeing a lot better than Austin Jackson. Let me put it that way, okay? I mean, look at good down blocking. I mean, you're seeing a guy who's decent, who is decent here. Now you're gonna see bad reps. You look at Isaiah here. Look at him. This is him at left tackle now. Now this is a bad rep. You look at him at left tackle. Watch the left tackle on this rep. This is not a good rep. This is not a good rep. All right. This is an example of one of his bad reps. Look at, gets totally beat off. Just whiffs on his assignment. And then he takes out the running back. Watch this. It's ugly. It is ugly. Watch this. Whiffs on the block and then takes out the running back. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. So, you have miscommunications, but why do I think he might work at left guard? Why do I think left guard is the way to go? Watch the left guard on this rep here, guys. Watch this screen here, okay? Here's your left guard. Watch your left guard on this rep. Watch this. 77, right there, the lead block. Boom! Look at him just drive. Woo! Look at how quick he is into space. Just looking, puts his head down. Good placement of the hands. Right underneath the pads and just drives the man back. Second level defenders should not stand a chance against a guy like Isaiah Wynn. 310 pounds coming down this fast at you. My God. I'm just saying. Put that man at left guard and let me know how that works out. Whew. Whew. Yeah, that's him at tackle. Sorry, I apologize. This is where they had him at tackle on this rep. And he's just, boom, driving. Look at that. That is ridiculous. Look at that. My God. Because I think that was a tight end off his hip. Let me see. Let me go back. The quality's crap. I think that's a tight end off his hip driving down. Right there. 63, 53. Anyways. He drops back there. Yeah, there's that tackle there. I apologize. Yeah, but this is him at left tackle. Look at him just move. Look at this, just in space. Just nasty. Oh, my God. Yeah, my apologies. He's at tackle here. 65 is the guard right there. Which I believe, isn't that Kinley? Anyways, I mean, look at the power. Look at the movement in open space. You can see the intrigue. I'm just saying. Yeah, that he's at left tackle there. I apologize. Very, very, very interesting stuff there. Very interesting stuff. I think, he only had, when we did the math earlier, he's only had, like 80 reps? He had 60 reps last year and 25 in year 2 at left guard at the pro level. So, we'll see. I think, you look at 6'2", 310, lower center of gravity. He's not 6'5", 6'6". The way he moves, put that in a phone booth. You might got something, especially between Connor Williams and Teron Armstead. So, and you could at the same time, you could still go out and add Brandon Shell or Cam Fleming and put them in a competition for Austin Jackson. I mean, I go back to this. We go post draft here, right? Post round 2. And I said to all of you, I said, this does not sound like two guys who are relying and totally confident and putting their jobs on the performances of Austin Jackson and Lee Meichenberg in 2022. And I think this is the first domino. He's 26 too. Wynn is 26. If you hit on him at guard, you have an answer for another 4 or 5 years. So, I'm just saying. To me, that makes the most sense. Yeah, Kinley was released a couple weeks ago by the Giants. Yeah, that wasn't Kinley. I think that was before Kinley's time. I don't know who it was. I think it said 65. So, anyways, my whole point here with this guy is I think this is where he fits in the most. I think this is where he fits in the most, is at left guard, on the left side. That's where he's naturally a fit, on the left side. Don't try and force it. You got Cam Fleming out there. You got Brandon Shell out there who, yeah, sure. Do they have the upside of a 26-year-old Isaiah Wynn under the proper coaching? Probably not. But they're naturally right side guys. Right? So, listen. I say put him at left guard. Make him the backup swing left tackle to Armstead. Let the dominoes fall as they may. I think that's the best option here for the Miami Dolphins moving forward. Those are my thoughts on him. I mean, again, you saw him. Sure, there was a couple reps against Ogben Phillips where, off the kick, they had him on his heels a little bit. But for the most part, he was absorbing their contact, had active hands, good placement, set his anchor, wasn't getting driven out of his boots, right? So, there's something to work with here. Because, again, listen. Am I calling this man Trent Williams? Hell to the no. But everyone thought Trent Williams was done and washed up in Washington, would never reach his potential and his ceiling, and McDaniel and Shanahan and that staff turned that man into the best tackle and arguably one of the best players in football for multiple years running. Now, again, I'm not expecting Trent Williams here, but we've got the people in place where, guess what? These are the proper people to teach the outside zone that New England is trying to implement, and I trust these guys. Listen, ever since, what's his face? The old Patriots offensive line coach, when he left in 2019, ever since he left, you know what I mean? It's Dante Scarnecchia. Ever since he left, has anyone really trusted? Since Dante Scarnecchia has left New England, has anyone even really trusted that offensive line? They haven't been the same since he left. So I trust our minds in place. Now, if they still had him in New England, okay, I'd put them over us, but I don't think so. Right? So I agree with Adrian Gonzalez. I think he's a guard and a backup to Teron Armstead. So he gives you flexibility. All right? Now, yesterday after we were done, the Miami Dolphins, they made multiple roster moves. They waived Jarrett Horst, the tackle from Michigan State, Alex Jensen, who could play guard and tackle, as well as, this one surprised me, University of Miami guard / tackle DJ Skife. I mean, to get cut only a couple days into rookie minicamp, they had to have seen absolutely nothing. So, am I mad that they went out and cut guys who gave them absolutely nothing? Why would I be? And I still can't believe people were making a big deal about these names. Give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break. All right? I'm just saying. Do any of those names move the needle to you? No. Just let's be honest. Let's be honest. If Isaiah Wynn goes into the battle at right tackle, does he move the needle for any of us? Probably not. But if you put him in the battle at left guard and he's the backup swing tackle for Teron Armstead, he moves a little bit for you. Again, do any of these names you see right here move the needle a single way for you? Because they sure don't for me. All right? They sure don't for me. Now, we looked over their defensive listing and took a little offense to it. Funny. Now we're going to look at the offensive list. Bleacher Report. They ranked all the defenses after the draft, and then they went ahead and they ranked all the offenses now after the draft. And I wanted to go over this with you guys here, because they don't even have us a top 10 offense. They ranked every NFL offense after the 2023 draft. And 32 is Houston, 31 is Indianapolis, 30 is Tennessee, 29 is the Rams. The Bucs are at 28, the Cardinals are at 27, the Pats are at 26, Commanders at 25, Panthers at 24, Packers at 23, Broncos at 22, Steelers at 21, Bears at 20, Raiders at 19, Saints at 18, Giants at 17, Atlanta at 16, Cleveland at 15, the Jets at 14, which is one of the fairer rankings I've seen, Seattle at 13, Minnesota at 12, and then there is us at 11. Now, we had the 7th best EPA rank and the 11th best scoring rank in 2022. Key additions they have for us are Berrios, Anderson, Mike White, Saubert, Devin Achane, while key losses are Gesicki, Long, Greg Little, Trent Sherfield, Dieter, Brandon Shell, Teddy Bridgewater. And they say here, as long as this team has a healthy Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Mike McDaniel guiding the offense, they're going to have an above-average group. That's it. That's all it brings. Tagovailoa's ball placement combined with the speed of that receiver duo and the creativity of McDaniel provides a synergy that worked some serious magic last season. Hill proved that his greatness wasn't just a product of playing in Kansas City with Mahomes. Waddle showed he has the makeup to be one of the best number 2 receivers in the league. Brother, he was already the best number 2 receiver in the league. What are you talking about? Him and Hill had the 3rd best production output in the history of wide receiver duos. What are we talking about? That being said, there's still work to do to provide better fits after those two in the offense. Chosen Anderson and Braxton Berrios provide a little more depth at receivers, pass catchers who could take advantage of the openings that Hill and Waddle create for others. The biggest offseason addition might be A-Chain, though. The 3rd round pick ran a 4.32 dash in the pre-draft process and has the type of speed that 31-year-old Raheem Mostert has without the age concerns. The offensive line keeps this group from being ranked any higher. Terron Armstead is the best of the bunch, and his history injury makes him a risky bet to rely on. Now, ahead of us, they have Jacksonville. All right. They have Baltimore. Okay. Give me a break. Los Angeles, Detroit, San Fran, who's their quarterback this year? Someone let me know. Sam Darnold. The Dallas Cowboys. Okay. The most underachieving team ever. Cincinnati, the Eagles, the Bills. And listen, other than the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Bengals, what other offense here is really in the same conversation as us? Give me a break right now. I want to know in the chat right now. In the chat right now. Give me a realistically too. In the chat right now, or if you're watching this after the fact, in the comments, I want to know where you would rank our offense. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I think this is a top 5 offense in football. I think the only teams that can have the conversation with us right now are the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Eagles. I mean, I don't even think I don't even think the Bills can have this conversation. They don't have a Waddle. They don't have nothing near a Waddle. And we got Stephon Diggs trumped with Tyreek. So I want to see in the comments right now where you would rank us realistically. Let me know. All right, let me know. I want to hear. I agree with you, Robert. Baltimore is one-dimensional. 3-4 upgrades on the offensive line. Says Tua championship Valoa. Adrian says we're 7. Denise should say I'll say top 5. Aaron top 5. Hank says number 1. Number 4, 5th at best, 6th at least, 10. 4th if we get Cook and Fleming, 2nd. Top 5 easily, says Samuel. 5th, 6th at worst, top 5. Eric says Philly, Chiefs, Miami, Bengals. Bengals, Chiefs, Eagles, 49ers, Bills, Miami. I like it. Top 10. I like it. Knight says Eagles, Dolphins, Bengals, Chiefs, Cowboys. We're in the 2nd year of offense, number 4. Top 5, 7, 6 at worst. Chiefs and Dolphins are the best. Miami over everyone says championship Aloha. With a running game, we are top 3. I like it. Top 2. I like it. Top 5. Number 6 at worst. I agree with that. Top 5 offense recent as long as the O-line works out. Agree. Number 4 at worst. I agree. At worst 4. Yep. It's our top 5. I agree with that. They're overrating that offense big time. After the Cook signing, top 3. I agree. Listen, I agree, man. I think this is a third if we get Cooks. I think this is a top 5, top 10 offense, man. Like, who are these people lying to right now? Answer me that. Guys, there's over 490 of you in the chat right now on a Sunday night. I appreciate all y'all. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. I mean, the disrespect continues. I mean, this is a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense, any way you cut it. The only unit you can say is outside the top 10 is special teams. And that's because we don't know what to expect this year. We don't know how it's going to work out. We don't know what the ideas are. Keon Cross and Justin Bethel are going to be contributing more on special teams than they are in our secondary, which is a good thing for our defense and should be a good thing for our special teams unit. A guy like Aubrey Miller could be added to that. Devin A-Chain as a kick returner is going to be added to that now. Braxton Berrios is going to be added to it as a returner. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Guys, that special teams unit might even improve this year. I think we got a top 10 offense, a top 10 defense, and you might have an improved. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. If we kick Wynn to left guard and we go get a Fleming or a Shell and they battle at right tackle, get ready, baby. That's all I got to say. Get ready. Get ready. I like that kicker, too. I like Turk, man. People are sleeping on Turk. I think the UDFAs, who I think I got the best chance to make this team, Aubrey Miller, Michael Turk, Brandon Pilley. Outside of that, I like guys like Zeke Vandenberg. You know what I mean? I like Alama Ulave, right? There's other guys out here I like. Anthony Montavo. His athletic profile intrigues me, but, I'm looking more so practice squad, hopefully, for those guys. All right, guys. 510 of you in the room. Please smash the like button. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be back this week. Enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. Hug your mothers. Tell them you love them. And, hey, they are the true creators and goddesses on this planet. Without them, there is no life. So, love all of y'all. Hope each and every one of you have a fantastic Sunday night. They got an offensive tackle. Let's see how it plays out. All right, guys? I will see all of y'all in the next one. Until that time, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. I appreciate it all, y'all. Smash that like button on the way out. See y'all in the next